Hey guys, so Lloyd here, back again with another review, and today we'll be taking a look at the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Swamp Thing Megafig, and that is a title this guy definitely deserves. Get into that in a moment. But this is Swamp Thing as he appears in DC Rebirth, because DC just loves to reboot the heck out of their comics. What can I say? They did it back in New 52, they did it in Rebirth. They're probably going to do it again soon, because there's a lot of psychotic Batman mucking up the multiverse, so I think it's time for another reboot, right? Right. But getting into the meat and taters of this review, this guy, of course, comes with the collectible trading card, which I think is just a photo of the figure, so that's kind of lazy, but no artwork to show where the look of this figure was inspired / influenced by, but a cool little card nonetheless. I've been doing that lately. I'm not too big of a fan of that, although at the end of the day I don't really give a crap about the cards. Actually, since this is not just another Batman or Superman, here's the bio. Those of you who want a quick read up of old Jules Holland, that's his name, right? Doc Holland. Call him Doc Holland. Then he comes with, is this a joke? The little black stand with a peg on it. First and foremost, I always say two pegs are better than one. But this is a joke, right? Just like the one that came in the freaking Violator. And then he comes with a shank. Okay. The shank does have a hinge in it. And this, on mine at least, plugs into the right arm. I'm not going to do that just to save time, and to be quite honest with you, I would not display my Swamp Thing with this anyways. That said, if you're going to give him one, I would like something for the other arm. That said, I think you're getting enough plastic in the box to get by. And what do I mean by that? Well, those of you who are curious, here he is next to the Joker figure I looked at yesterday. Definitely deserves the title of Megafig. Am I right? So needless to say, as far as comparisons go, he's bigger than a standard Multiverse figure. So I will be comparing him to some other Megafigs and larger scale figures. Of course, the two regulars, because I have a reputation to uphold on this channel where Spawn and Brother Mandibulus make an appearance in every video. Most every video. Probably not my top 10s. Which, speaking of which, this guy is definitely going to be on my top 10 Multiverse. And I'm going to say it. This is my favorite Multiverse of the year, guys. Kind of spoilerish, but you know what? I don't care. My channel, my rules. This is my favorite. I love this figure. I did have to have my dad, aka Mr. Brian, do a little surgery on this hip here. And more like the thigh. It was not plugged in all the way. So, buyer beware, I guess. Something that's kind of hard to tell while he's still in the package. But, McFarlane, you're slipping. You were on the top of the world last year. Your quality and, quite frankly, your customer service has gone a bit towards the toilet the past few months. I expect better, man. I expect better. But that said, this is still an amazing figure. Look at the sculpt. I don't know if it's paint or just the marbleization of the plastic, because he does have that going on, but unlike Marvel Legends, it's not metallic and looks kind of cheap. It looks really good on this guy. And I guess this is something similar they did with the re-release of Devastator in the 2-pack with Superman. I don't have that, but I wouldn't mind picking it up. But I just love the way this guy looks. He's got all the vines hanging down past his hands, vines on his back. Very well-defined butt there. I mean, that's firmly clenched, if I do say so myself. He did have a little bit of flashing, I think, here. I don't know if it was part of the sculpt or not, one of these dangly vines, but it just kind of snapped off on mine. So, whatever. I don't think it was meant to be a vine, but it kind of looked like one. So, you know, if you got some schmutzy around the knees here, chances are it's not what it is, because there's nothing over here. There's nothing on the top here. I assume it was just a little flash or something, but it did kind of look like one of his dangly bits. So for a second there, I thought it was like, what? But either way, other than that, this guy is as close to a perfect Swamp Thing as you can get. And for the price point, which, again, shout out to Mr. Bryan's family for the hookup on some Christmas cash so I could pick this guy up, and that Joker from GameStop while they had a sale last week. I don't know if this guy is still on sale, but if he is, buy it. Just buy it. Turn this review off, get your butt to GameStop.com, and buy yourself one of these. He's absolutely fantastic. I love this figure. He's a heavy figure, too. But, would work really well with your DC Classic, too, might I add. I do have, what's his name? Etrigan. Shout out to T-Biz. Shout out to T-Biz for hooking me up with that one. And then I have Deadman and Zatanna. I do not have Constantine because he's a little bit expensive on the eBays right now, but I almost got a complete Justice League Dark going on. They never made an Orchid. We need an Orchid figure. But at any rate, I love this guy. I can't stop saying it. I absolutely love this guy. So, articulation. Head can look up really well. Look at that. That's cool. You can look down pretty far, too, which you want out of a super tall character like this. It does, of course, rotate. Almost detented there. It does have some tilt, so you can give him some attitude. That's cool. His head is all kinds of asymmetrical. Even his chin. It's lower here than it is here. He's got some foliage on the top of his head there. He's got the iconic kind of Eddie the Head from Iron Maiden face going on. Which I guess this guy came first, didn't he? He's a 70s character. I always preferred Swamp Thing to Man Thing, by the way. If you want to go Marvel versus DC. I always thought Swamp Thing was cooler looking. But that's just me. Although Man Thing is very unique with his kind of tendril face going on. Shoulders go out to the side. Like that. Get a right angle out of him. That's not too bad for a big guy. He does have that ball joint thing in here, but it doesn't work quite as well on this side. It is just tight, but he does have that McFarlane style butterfly joint going on, which is effective to a point. He does have a bicep cut, but this is like some of the bigger figures in this line. It is just a cap piece. Your real rotation is going to come down in the elbow. That on this side is a bit stuck. Oh, there we go. But your elbow, get just about 90 out of it, so that's cool. You get a swivel down here, which does work effectively, might I add. There you go. You can see that cap's kind of loosening up now. And then the hands have a hinge with a swivel, which is fine by me. I don't really care for ball hinges, except for like the feet, because I pretty much get that with a boot cut. A well-hidden boot cut, that is. Get this arm up and out the way here. Torso, it does have some movement, but not a lot. Mostly a swivel. Had to heat it up a bit to even get that out of it. Waist is where you're going to get most of your articulation. It does rotate. It does tilt forward and back. and side to side. Careful, you don't want to make it too loose. It needs to have some stability. And as far as the legs go, they do kick forward. They kick back a little bit. They kick out to the side. I wouldn't say you need to really worry about the diaper tearing. It's got plenty of wiggle room in there. It does have a thigh cut. You're not going to get a ton out of that. This side gets a little bit more than the other, but it has more clearance. And then the knees do bend. Double jointed knee there. The top joint is pretty bad. Not going to lie. The bottom joint's the least offensive of the two. Oh, actually, this side's not terrible. The other side's got a really sharp point in it. And then the foot does have a hinge. And the rocker and the swivel in the top there, because they are on ball hinges. Then he's got toe joints, which should really just be super glued into place, because you want this guy to actually stand, right? I would hope so. So, yeah, aside from the toe joints, the articulation's really good on this guy. Again, toe joints are the most unnecessary articulation in this entire line. Anyone who says they aren't is a hypocrite and probably doesn't even use them. You know who you are. I'm not going to cough and say their name, because I do that enough on this channel. I think I've done it enough for the year, actually, so I'm going to refrain from doing that. So we could take a look at some comparisons. First up here is old Swampy next to a couple other DC Multiverse Megafigs, which, excuse me, these are Megafigs too? Okay then, we got Darkseid and Steppenwolf from the Justice League movie line, and as you can see, Swamp Thing absolutely towers over these guys. I don't know why. He is so much bigger than these two, but I definitely appreciate the extra plastic. Nice bang for your buck value there, but just look at that Darkseid, man. I really liked him when he came out. Now he just seems a bit insignificant, to be honest with you. Steppenwolf still holds up a bit. He's just shorter than Swamp Thing. Up next, here he is, next to my favorite Megafig we've gotten from McFarlane Toys thus far. Yeah, there's no topping this guy, at least not yet. Maybe Malboja will do it, but only time will tell, right? But of course we have the infamous Violator from the Spawn Universe line, whose legs are currently bent in the chicken leg position, as they should be, because that's how he's drawn in the comics. So all you yahoos trying to stand him up with his legs perfectly straight and are having trouble balancing him, yeah, that's going to happen because he's not supposed to stand that way. But that said, while he is shorter than Swamp Thing, at least in this state, he's definitely a lot thicker, and he was $10 more, so he's a little bit better in the paint department as well. I wouldn't mind seeing a more deluxe Swamp Thing with, I don't know, some more of those plant accessories and maybe even more paint apps, although there is that GameStop exclusive version with the antlers that ought to give him some extra height, right? Next up, and wrapping up our comparisons with larger scale figures before we finish things up with our two regulars, here is good old Swampy next to a Hasbro offering, the Marvel Legends Infinity Saga Surtur, who is actually just about on par with Swamp Thing as far as height goes, but as far as overall beef and chunkiness goes, Swamp Thing definitely takes Surtur there. And of the two figures, Swamp Thing is, in my opinion, the better of the two. Not only being cheaper, but almost being the same height for less the price. And in my opinion, you get a little bit more plastic with Swamp Thing just based off of overall weight. Yeah, he is definitely the better of these two figures, in my opinion. And last, but certainly not least, as pointless as it may seem, as I told you guys before, I have a reputation to uphold, so I don't care. Here is good old Swamp Thing next to our two regulars, the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibulus, in the MK11 spawn, who is absolutely dwarfed by old Swampy here. So with that being said, can't win them all spawn. Sorry, not sorry. But time to wrap things up. Some final thoughts. Overall, and I'm 110% confident in saying that this is my absolute favorite DC Multiverse figure of 2021. I don't think there's anything better that's going to come out between now and January 1st, folks. So, again, kind of spoilerish. But, at the end of the day, I like what I like, and I love this figure. Granted, he is twice the price of a standard DC Multiverse figure, but with that being said, I think you're definitely getting what you pay for here, and the fact I had a bit of a discount doesn't hurt either. Because before this guy showed up, Death Metal Batman and Etrigan were kind of fighting for the #1 spot. But now that this guy's here, he's totally squashed the competition. Get it? Because squash is a vegetable. Crappy jokes aside, I love this figure. Once again, I would highly recommend it to anyone looking for a really awesome Swamp Thing figure. He is freaking fantastic and would totally work with your DC Classics figures, which is kind of what I plan to do with this guy once I have a efficient enough DC display going on. I do have the old DC Classics Etrigan. Shout out to T-Biz again for the hookup on that one. I have Deadman, I have the Spectre, I have Zatanna. I got a good little Justice League Dark going on. Phantom Stranger, Blue Devil, you name it. The only one I don't have is Constantine because his secondary market prices are kind of yeesh. But I digress. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And if you are so inclined, please hit that notification bell so you know whenever I upload more reviews like this one. Because we got to show that algorithm who's boss, right? And if you haven't already, hit me up on Instagram at Overlord Productions. But as always, keep the comments civil, because the world sucks enough as it is. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later.